Welcome to the Reality React channel. In this channel, we watch reality TV shows. We watch them for fun and also watch them to react and review. And today today I'm reviewing the Married at First Sight Mzansi, season 1, episode 13. And this episode was recorded. This episode was recorded a day after the recommitment ceremony day. And on the recommitment, it's just the day where they choose to recommit to their partners or go their separate ways. So we have the 3 aspects, and they are showing the couples when they first started, when they saw their partners for the first time. And they were giving opinions. One of them mentioned that this is a brave experience to undergo, considering that marriage itself is not an easy journey, and they decided to do it anyway, which is brave of them, I guess. And also the first couple that was reflecting his, and they went ahead and addressed that there is some issue which she wanted Kuto to answer, but the experts asked her that wanted the to answer. So she answered and says games are supposed to be fun, and this game was not fun. But one thing that I have noticed is that sometimes maybe she forgot that this is a show, and as much as these games are not supposed to be mean, and also in real life you wouldn't get to be asked about as a couple in general. You wouldn't get, it's random to have people ask you if you want, if you would want someone else to join your marriage to do a threesome with, like, just weird, but her feelings are valid. And also the contestants. So how they saw this is that the person who asked that question is actually a mean person, but according to me, the person is not mean. Maybe the producers, they ask them to ask such questions so that they can create drama, so that we can find this show entertaining. And so that's part of the reason why these games were created and all of that. But I guess these are real feelings and these are real people. So if she feels like this was the question was mean and the question was meant to break their marriage or something like that, maybe her question is valid. And so while that was going on, when she finished, Tshepo chipped in and she mentioned that the game was not truthful for their marriages, and this kind of, and she called out the on not being able to handle the truth, which is surprising to me, as this is not about the truth. It's supposed to be a game, nothing else. But it helped Dee in knowing that her husband thought of her as being insecure in her marriage, and she didn't know that before the game. So it as much as Tshepo is saying that it was not useful, it's actually useful. It did help that couple, or it did bring up the light that what Kuto thought of their marriage. Can they expect us for their final thoughts? And I like that Kuzo still answered the question about the game, and his thought on it, as it seems he seems quiet most of the time. He seems just closed up. He doesn't want to express himself that much. So I think that's part of the reasons why he burst out, is because maybe even when the cameras are not there, he's still like a quiet person, keeps to himself, and he doesn't talk much, and he let his wife talk over him, whatever she does and stuff like that. But on final thoughts on how they are, he mentioned that the outcome of the game was the lowest point of their relationship, and he also mentioned that they had made up sex, and that then he mentioned that they are in a good talking stage, which for me is weird, because then this is marriage, right? Or they are supposed to be acting like they are married. And but anyway, this is him. I think that he might be prioritizing the days more than the relationship itself, or maybe he just wants I don't know. Like, I'm trying to find the reason why he keeps mentioning these things because he mentioned it twice. Because he's like, yeah, even in the morning we still talked about it. I'm like, why is it so important that you keep mentioning that you guys are doing this? Like, what is the reason? Maybe he thinks that is when he comes out of the show or when the show airs, and then maybe he's gonna get a lot of people. It's quite weird. But anyways, they was smiling, so maybe she's fine and they are happy, and as we are looking at it, like they are not, and yeah. So hopefully it works out for them. As I thought that on the recommitment episode, they were not going to be choosing each other because of how the game nice, how everything, and how he seems like he's keeping to himself. I wonder if he takes his data analysis job into the relationship, and he analyzes and internalizes it and doesn't tell anyone. Like, I'm just wondering the type of person he is. And also, so the next couple was with Sebenzile and Tshepo. And while they were showing them when it first started and all of that, and how when they met each other, how the relationship has progressed, they were both smiling at their ceremony and their relationship. I love their relationship on camera. There wasn't much drama in their relationship. I'm assuming this is because they are working and talking more off camera about themselves. So the relationship and so that their relationship is more like clear, and so that when they are on camera, they 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 don't reveal much because then we have worked through things, so it just becomes easy. And but I just didn't like that. It seemed like Sebintile was reluctant about moving in together and blame it on working with, not like reluctant in terms of like he was not the one doing more of the searching. And I hope that he managed to raise the deposit for the rent, or the deposit and also the rent, or whatever way. But I hope that as much as he wasn't showing that I'm going to be the one that's searching, and then he was indicating that Tshepo is the one that's managing that part. I hope that monetary wise he also participated in whatever that's needed for them to move in together. And but in this episode, they spoke about how they make each other happy, which kept Sabinzile smiling. So I like that. And the first issues that they address was the issues about the feelings that he still has for his ex. And Bitepo mentioned that after the cameras, she addressed this issue with the husband, which further proves that my point of saying that they are discussing stuff of cameras. And Semenzile further explained that he takes lessons from his previous relationship. And so the issues about the ex, he takes lessons from his previous relationship and appreciates his exes. And feelings are just feelings of friendships and nothing more. Nothing more. And he thinks he thinks that he could have said it better. But Siapo seemed fine with that. So if she loves it, we love it for them. And they addressed the issue about them being the perfect couple from the other couple. So the other couples sort of like thinking because there is no drama happening between them, so maybe something is wrong or they are performing for the camera. And Sabine Zile addresses this and said that he's an attentive person and that they discuss issues with his wife, and his wife just agrees with him and mentioned that they aren't perfect, and they expect us what made them choose to stay together. And Sebenzile mentioned that they helped each other in their career goals, as Tshepo want to start her own brand, and he is a brand manager, so that will go a long way in their relationship. And also you must remember one of the aspects is his wife working together with him on this show. So it sort of like just moves into that area of saying that because they are a couple working together and it will boost their relationship and stuff like that. Um, but side note, I think she might have joined the show to start this brand thing, but we don't know. But I don't blame her if she did that. I mean, if it works for both of them, that's good. And she met the right partner in this case, a brand manager. So a win is a win. So when it came to Kumo and Tabang, as they were showing the how they met and their recommitment day, they were not smiling. Hey, that Kumo was making faces that were not favorable, that just looked weird. But and then the issues that they faced raised was the issue of the recommitment day, and where he basically said that he knew she wasn't really single at the time of their marriage, and they discuss this at their on their wedding night. But Kumo comes in and say that she's the one who raised the issue first, and the way she's sitting looks defensive. As Tabang is speaking, she has her hands on her chest, busy looking him up and down. He basically explained that at one point they broke up, and she sounded it like he, the partner, not Tabang and and Kumo broke up, but the partner that she is supposed to be in the relationship with that didn't end well. The, has they didn't they broke up during their marriage, and it sounded like this happened the day before the recommitment day. And Tabang found out that on that day, like it's a bit confusing, and it's the fact that the experts are not asking questions. Maybe we'll find out during the reunion, correct? Like in terms of what happened, when did you find out, and is that part of the like that's part of the reason we know. But when did he find out that this thing is not working out? Was it during the games? Was he always just being friendly with her because he knew that at the end of the day, I'm not gonna commit to this lady. What is happening in this relationship? And then she chips in. Well, she doesn't really chips in. They ask her, and then she comes in and say that relationship, and then she chips in. Well, she doesn't really chips in. They ask her, and then she comes in and say that she comes in and says that what is this guy's name? She gave him the password to her phone, and she used the analogy of tripping a rat with a cheese. And in this case, the cheese is the password and tabang is the rat, which is a weird analogy because that is her partner, that is supposed to be a husband, and then that she met on camera and still loves him because and that hasn't changed. This couple confuses me. It's like the way I feel about you hasn't changed. You know what I told you? I'm like, what, which feelings are you I know people are capable of cheating, but like, why are you lying on camera saying that your feelings have not changed when your feelings maybe were not even genuine to begin with? And why would she knowingly continue this relationship knowing that she gave Tabang password? Did she want to be caught? Like, I don't understand how not how they selected her. Because I mean, you could lie and say that you are ready for marriage, and she's old enough. If you are 25, you are old enough for marriage. Even if you are 20, if you want to, you can get married. But he feels betrayed by her cheating ways and mentions that he's honest with Kumo, and Kumo mentions that she has some female friends as well, that Tabang has a female friend as well that he talks to, that when he answers her phone calls, he says that a kulmeki, which means that he can't talk. So and also she's also a spiritual person, and she sees Tabang in bed with someone else so like when she's sleeping or dreaming. And it's from where I'm standing, it seems they are both cheating and have feelings for other people, even though Tabang was not asked about this female friends. Like I'm trying to understand the experts' reasoning. Maybe they don't want to trigger, or they ask these questions, and they don't. Like I try and understand where they could be coming from. They don't want to ruin the experience for the people, or they think that this relationship is very serious to keep to ask about the female friend, or they could see that they are both not serious, so there's no point in having discussions around these things. But she didn't apologize for the cheating, which is weird. And also, the gynecologist closes, the specialist sexologist closes by saying that she loves their energy, which is weird, as they were not honest with each other and were cheating on each other. And we found out this on this very episode. But I also think that because this is a TV show, it could have been edited. Uh, the part where they ask the questions, and maybe now that part of her saying that she loves their energy and wishes them well, and she expects a wedding invite from them, was after they have discussed everything around them and maybe found a solution or whatever the case might be. And then like it will make sense to say, I wish you well. And maybe wanting a wedding invite, if you believe that much in forgiveness and weddings and marriages, which is the main reason of the show. So the next couple is Tumi and Z. This couple, I didn't have hope that they will actually choose each other on the recommitment day, but they did. And while they were showing how far they have come, and also how they are as a couple, Zitopila was crying as always. So, and then she mentioned that she feels like she has been married for over 10 years, and because of what they have been through with her husband of 2 months, and she has learned a lot about herself, relationships, and life itself. And I hope this is true for her, because she seemed like maybe she was not able to express herself, so that she would cry when he does things that she didn't like, or where she felt like, because even in the show she did indicate that this is not the type of husband she wished she could have gotten from the show. um but I mean, she chose him on the recommitment day, so maybe by then, on that day, she was still happy with him. And the experts asked them about the plans for the future, and Tammy asked her what are their plans. And his wife cries because they've been going through the plans, and she wants a long distance relationship with her husband, while Tammy wants Tobila to move with him to Dubai. And Tammy indicates that the reason why he is even asking her now then in the show is because he changes plans as she goes. Like he doesn't know where he stands with her, because today she's off, tomorrow she's on, and it confuses him. But I really feel like Tammy was just being weird, because what do you mean she changes plans? Z has been saying that the only thing that could possibly happen for them is that she visits him. Even when they were moving out, she said that she was going to move out on her own, and then she was going to visit him. I don't understand how he expected someone to meet up with him, unless if you are not doing anything with your life, or maybe you are very flexible with your work wise, or whatever that might be happening with your life. You could easily move to another country and not worry too much about family, because she indicated that her family is here, her career is here, everything for her is around, is in South Africa. So for her to uproot her life is not going to work. And they address the issue of lobola for Z and Tammy. And he indicated that he doesn't have enough money for lobola, as Zitobile does not want her lobola money to come piece by piece. She wants lobola that's done on one day. And if I base it on my culture, I know that lobola does not get paid in one day. they come and say that they want to lobola, or they send the letter and then they the first one, then maybe they finish on the second one. Sometimes they don't even come and finish the second one for some other people. So Z wants hers to be done once and for all. And these, for me, I feel like lobola is important for other people, but the expects also ask the other Zulu guy there, which is Sebenzile. And Sebenzile was asked about what the tradition says, and he said that with regards to this marriage, he said that Tami must do what makes him happy and forgot about tradition. But I think Tami really cares about tradition. So to tell him that he should forget about it doesn't like it just like say someone says they want this and then you're telling them do this thing because it doesn't matter what you do, you can get married at the home affairs, you can go and sign, even the expert says that, and then they can follow their culture after. And I'm like, what is this thing that they're chasing so much that they can't wait? Is it maybe if you are married from this show, you need to go and sign immediately once you have recommitted to the person? What is going on? What is the reason? Like, what is the rush? There's no rush. And if it's been in 2 months, as much as this man knew that I'm going to do married at first sight, even though I don't have enough money for Robola, which is another thing which doesn't make sense in the South African environment for a black person. Well, for some black people that cares about the culture, it shouldn't make sense that you go on a show, you don't have enough money to even do the first cocoa and say, I want to lobola your child. It's not, it's like they are not ready for marriage, the men. So so they go and address the issue of children, and as Tobile actually tells Tammy that she will want to have 2 children. She's not gonna have a lot of children like his moms that have 19 children. And I like that Tobile stood up for this, even though I feel like she's that girl that's always crying. And yeah, hey, it's tough. I think it's probably was tougher for Tammy. I know, like, if you're dealing with someone who cries, it feels like maybe you are responsible for them crying, and which means maybe you could have done an introspection to find out what could be the reason why his wife cries instead of talking. But hey, it's tough. And in closing, the experts wish them the best for their marriages and that they must remember that the experts will always be there for them to help going forward. About the experts remind them to be kind to each other. They remind Tammy and Zitobile that they should be kind to each other. And the closing of the episode, the experts wishes the couples all the best in their marriages and that they must remember that the experts will always be there for them to help in case if they need help. Next week at the reunion, the issue or the beef that seems to be there between Tshepo and D, and also that apparently Tammy has been in a coma for 5 months, and his wife is saying that he's exaggerating, and he was in a coma for 1 month, which is still scary. I mean, in a coma, it means that you are in ICU, and that can't be good. That's actually very scary. I don't think if someone was to stay in a hospital for 1 month, I would say they're exaggerating. Even if they said that they stayed in the hospital for however long, words like exaggerating wouldn't be words that I would use. But anyway, most of the time reunions are captured after like a year, so we'll find out a few months down the line. We'll find out what is happening next week on the next episode. And also Kumo confirms that she wasn't in love with Tabang, and which confirms my thought around their relationship. She wasn't ready for their marriage. She couldn't even take leave to go with the schedule so that she could get married and also manage to go on the honeymoon with the rest of the couples. And yeah, like it's just I'm not sure why they casted someone who wasn't ready for this relationship. Was this part of the show so that we could enjoy it? They had to include someone younger there so that, like, on average, she was younger than the rest of the ladies. They had to include her, even her husband, I think he's 27. So, like, maybe it was part of that is the scope to say include someone who's maybe not ready for their marriage and then so that the show could be more entertaining. Makes sense if you put it like